And now it's the time for our star speaker, a woman whose courage changed the course of history, a journalist, a human rights activist, a symbol of the Arab Spring, and the first Arab woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Tawakkol Karman.
Hello, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon all of you. I'm so happy to be with you here. Do you hear me? Yes. Of course. If you don't, I will raise my voice. As I advise every woman around the world that you should raise your voice. So, Madlena, I love your story. Thank you so much. You were a great inspiration. And I like talking about your daughter because this is a very important opening for my speech. I will speak about my son. I miss him a lot. He's now 4 years and I have 4 kids, by the way. This is the last one. Not the last, maybe I will think about to have the 5th. So today my daughter sent me his photo. And he was in the garden picking some flowers, and this is for my mom. I miss her a lot. This is for my dad. This is my husband. He's with me now. Thank you, my husband, to come with me here. And this is for me. And I'm waiting for them with these great flowers. And he went to his room. I bought a small microphone with him, for him, and he take it and he sang, "Ana Yamani. أنا يمني I am a Yemeni and ask the history I am a Yemeni." This is the role model. So I'm so happy that the first song that he learned is how to love his country and how to defend on it. So thank you for inspiring me to give small story in my beginning speech. So dear sisters and brothers, I would like to thank you for this invitation. Gender equality doesn't mean turning men and women into identical copies of one another. It means giving everyone the same opportunities, the same rights, the same dignity, the same protection, and the same space to fulfill their full potential without discrimination, marginalization, and violence. So it means that half of society is not excluded from public life because of inherited beliefs or political and economic interests. When we speak about gender equality, we must speak with honesty. And thank you for highlighting on these things. The difficulties that faces women around the world and faces women here in the West. This is a very important thing because women across the world are still fighting a long and exhausting battle against different forms of injustice. The faces may change, the tools may differ, but the struggle is one. The struggle of a human being seeking her full right to life, dignity, and equal opportunity. So in the West, even with strong laws and institutions, women still face alarming levels of domestic violence, a persistent gender pay gap, a harsh glass ceiling that blocks them from positions of power, and widespread harassment in workplace. And immigrant, Muslims, and women of color often suffer double discrimination based on gender, race, and identity. In my country, in my region, in the Middle East, the challenges are even more complex and deeply rooted. Women there face internalized system of violence and discrimination as a result of authoritarian regimes and occupation regimes. Gender equality has never been priority of or for ruling authorities. Historically, women received fewer rights and suffered more violations. 77 years ago, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights marked the first global attempt to change this reality, affirming that all human beings are born freely and equally in dignity and rights, and that these rights apply without distinction of any kind, including sex. So, yes, this didn't deliver the full change the world that hoped for, but it paved the way for meaningful progress in many societies, progress that helped them advance faster and more steadily than others. So now, dear friends, dear sisters and brothers, as the world now undergoes rapid transformation, the meaning of power has changed. The meaning of power has changed. Power is no longer measured by natural resources or deadly weapons. Real power lies in human capital, when every individual can contribute without marginalization. Gender equality becomes a fundamental pillar of capable, prosperous societies and for a more balanced global order. Nations that adopted clear equality policies, integrated women into parliaments, into governments, into media, into civil societies, this made these societies more balanced, more resilient, and more peaceful and humane. So, when we talk about equality, we should know that equality is essential for sustainable development, because no society can progress while excluding parts of its population. So, when everyone in the society have equal rights and opportunities, economies grow, communities stabilize, and development becomes fair, inclusive, and lasting. So in a very simple word, sustainability is impossible without equality. We should know that. Sustainability is impossible without equality. So I think many of you read international reports that confirm this, that empowering women has increased the GDP and improved living standards in many countries. Equality is not just a women's issue. It is not. It is not just a women's issue. It's a national and global advantage. So when we put it, we should put it in this. It is not just a women's issue, it's a national and international advantage. Now, when we talk about equality, there is a very, very big question. How do we turn equality into force that changes the world? Equality, or gender equality, becomes transformative when it breaks cycle of poverty, when it ends violence, when it challenges authoritarian regimes and occupation, when it unleashes the full creative and economic power of half of the population. and that will lead to empower all the population. We turn equality into a world-changing force by moving it from theory, like we hear it a lot here in the Western countries. Unfortunately, it's a theory here, more than it's an act. Transforming it from a theory to practice, from words to laws, to realities in people's lives. When women shift from being potential victim to be central leaders in politics, in technology, in economy, in media, in sport, in law, in every field in the life. And also transforming the narrative of women to receive decision to be the one who make it. And also to make with all of that will result to the bringing peace, justice, education, and community to the heart of public policy. Also, when we empower women economically, as I said before. When we empower women economically, we empower the society. We protect the world from its greatest economic laws. The global economy loses trillions when women are excluded. Empowering women means stronger economies, greater innovations, and more stable, resilient societies. True equality becomes powerful when women and men have equal access to education. When women and men have equal access to education, to health care, to resources, both of them, and decision making. When workplace value, talent, skills, more than being a man. That is very important. When also political system endorse women's leadership, and here is very important, especially with the countries that claim that they are democratic countries. A democracy without women participation in public life is a democracy built on a lie. And when societies dismantle the cultural barriers that limit women's potential, we turn the equality into force that truly changes the world when women, as I said, have a real role in peace talk, in negotiation, and this is very important. There is no peace without justice, and no peace while half of society is silent and marginalized. So a peace table, any peace table, without women is not a peace table at all. It is a table of preparing for the next war. Equality becomes transformative when women of the global south that I come from appear in media not only as a victim, which is very important to highlight on their issues, that is very important, but also to appear as a great leader. Not bring them as a victim that blames them from what so-called that religion. No, they are not harmed by religion, they are harmed by authoritarian regimes. And they are heroes. Media should highlight on those women as heroes, as a leader who want to save their countries from dictatorship, from tyranny, from corruption. So we would want to say women in media, in all media, especially in media, in the Western media, we want to see women who stand up to dictatorship. And there are a lot of women around the world who stand up to dictatorship, especially in our countries, and who still struggle for their freedom, democracy, and rule of law. We want to see women who fight corruption. We want to see women who build economies, protect democracies, and invent technology. We have a lot of great stories on that things. So it's very important to highlight on the victims. Very important. This is the main role of the media, to be the voice of those voiceless people, but at the same time, don't ignore the people, the real leadership, the real rule of women in the land who are fighting for justice and for freedom. And also, we need to dismantle the inequality in media, really. So in media, we shouldn't just put women as to be mentioned as a woman. It must trust women, amplify women, and give them leadership in the narrative, in newsrooms, in everywhere. Not just brief appearance in the story. And here is one of the Yemeni TV channel manager. This is also for you. So equality changes the world when we fight corruption, when we treat it, the women and the equality not as a women issue. This is very important. When we talk about equality, it is not women's issue. It is the foundation of justice, prosperity, and peace for all. So here, we talked a lot about equality. We talked about gender equality. And now I want to send messages to you. And most of you here are women and people who support women. Thank you for coming with us. So equality needs strong women. Strong woman who believes on herself. Strong women who refuse to stay in the shadow. Need strong women prove her ability to build, to lead, to heal, and to create the change. Say that I am that strong woman that can do the difference. And this is what every woman around the world must do. In every field, even in the house. She has to heal, she has to lead, and she has to make the change. Women must be visible, present, outspoken, leading, shaping decision, occupying every space that was once denied to them. Visibility is not a privilege, do you know? It's not a privilege, it's a right that you should take, not ask. Visibility is not a privilege, it is a right. And it is the first step toward the power. When women are visible, heard, trusted, and fairly represented, societies become stronger, more just, and more free. And from my personal experience, I have seen that. I have seen that, this great truth, in the streets of my country, Yemen, in the squares of peaceful revolutions, on the front lines of media battles, on the women who was in the front line of battle against the dictator and against all his violence, in the dark rooms where dictatorship tried to silence women and their free voices. I have witnessed it, and I'm still witnessing it every day. In every country, in my country, still struggle and fight for peaceful, for peace, for democracy, and for freedom, and for rule of law. So, from all this experience, I learned one undeniable fact. Visibility is the first step chapter to freedom. Silence is the first chapter of oppression. You have to be visible. You have to be in the front line if you want to really to create a great, noble change in your society. So, again, gender equality is not something we ask from authorities. It is something we should take. And again, to women here and to women everywhere, I say that you cannot achieve your full right if your society is deprived of freedom, dignity, democracy, and the rule of law. In every war and conflict, women and children endure the harshest violation tool, often with complete impunity for the perpetrators. This must never be accepted. This must never be accepted. Let us unite, all of us, unite to confront all those criminals around the world. Those who commit starvation, rape, or any war crimes must be held accountable without exception. Without exception. Let's stand together against authoritarianism and fight injustice wherever it appears. Let's refuse to be treated as a woman, to be treated as decoration. Refuse that. This is the worst role you play when you accept to play the role as a decor for any company, society, or country or government. When you participate, you have to do it with a full participation. And your impact should be there in the land. Don't allow them to use you as to legitimize anything that they want. So let's refuse symbolic seats which shouldn't accept 1 chair or 2 chairs, 3 chairs, 10 chairs. We want the half chairs. Half chairs. Because we, the half of society, deserve that. We, the half of society, deserve that. And we don't want it just to dance, to play. We want it to improve our societies, to help the people. To help the people. So be brave and speak truth and never, ever apologize for demanding your full right. Finally, dear friends, I want to tell you something about equality in general. Equality in general. In the broadest sense. Equality is not a slogan. It is the foundation of human dignity, democracy, and peace. And today, Europe must urgently recommit to equality in all its dimensions: political, economic, social, gender, and environmental. Rising populism, discrimination, hate speech, Islamophobia, xenophobia, anti-Semitic, and inequality now threaten the very soul of European project, threaten the very soul of European democracy. A democracy cannot survive when voices are unequal. Where economy cannot remain stable when wealth is unjustly concentrated to some families, to some companies, or even to some nations, because now there is a very big economic bag between wealthy countries and poor countries. And we call for equality. So equality means that we need a fair distribution of resources to all human beings. Why there is poverty now, while we are in the 21st century? So, and society cannot thrive while minorities, migrants, and women face exclusion, marginalization, and violence. Climate injustice also deepens these divides. Europe was built on the values of peace, freedom, and equality, and defending these values today is its great responsibility. It's your great responsibility. There is no dignity without equality, no democracy without equality, and no future for Europe without equality. Thank you so much.
Sorry, Katarzyna Dębek, editor-in-chief of Forbes Polska and Forbes Women Polska. Kasia will continue conversation with you, building on your message. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.
Let's stay visible. Let's not be an ornament.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a strong message. Tawakkol, you were dubbed many names. The world heard about you in 2011 during the Arab Spring. You were called the Iron Lady of the Revolution. You were called the Mother of the Revolution.
Yeah.
And my personal favorite, one of the top 17 most rebellious women in the human history.
Yeah, by Time Magazine. Yeah, I like this also.
This is
the best.
This is definitely the best. But your journey actually started much earlier, not in 2011 with the Arab Spring. It started much earlier when you were a girl, an activist, a journalist. And I'm wondering at which point in your personal story you realized that there is no equality, no justice, no peace without equal representation of men and women, without all the voices being heard. From your personal story, what was that moment?
Actually, there wasn't a special moment. It's a history of nurturing, you know. I raised in a very educated family, and my dad taught us that there is no division between women and men. You are a girl, so you have to go to the street, you have to do everything. You shouldn't ask your brother to take you to the school, for example. You should do everything with yourself, and the same thing with my brothers. So, and also it's feel of responsibility from my childhood. Always I had that big question. That when I see my country, I see poor people, I see my neighbors, you know, they couldn't access to education. I see poor people. I asked my dad why people like that. He said, "What will you do? What is your solution for this?" So this is the big question. The big question is, what can I do to help people in Yemen? So I grew up in a collapsed country. That the economy is collapsed. War everywhere. It is not just the war that in Yemen that you are seeing or hearing now. It's decades before. A lot of wars was waged by the dictator himself, and that was his strategy, preserving his authority by waging wars between tribes, between North and South, between ideological people, etc., etc. So in economy, in politics, there's deterioration in everywhere. So the moment is when I asked myself, what can I do? I didn't see to myself as a small girl or a woman who can't do. No, always I said, I am the one who will do that. I am the one who solved the problem. So always imagine, since I was a child, I built that big dream. It wasn't just for me. It's, I will save the country and I will make solution for everything. And that was the moment. Because how? Now the question is how? Then I search, how? Who is the cause? The one who do all this is the dictator. And what is the solution? It's to force the dictator to leave the power. So that was, you know.
Okay, we often say equality starts at home. You said your home was no ordinary home, home of fighting people, home of people who tell you, who empower you. Magdalena Sobkowiak-Czernecka was talking about her sources of strength. I'm wondering, where do you take your strength from? Because when I try to imagine you on the streets in Yemen, well, it's always difficult to go out in the street and shout, even in a democratic country. It's verging on crazy sometimes, you know. You might be scared, people might think, well, maybe this is a crazy woman. But then...
No, they said.
But yeah, but then when you go
don't
to
believe her, she's a crazy woman. Why do you follow her? It's shame on you.
How do you react to that, and where do you get your strength to not be afraid?
Look, being afraid is not shame, by the way. Sometimes you are human. Sometimes absolutely you will feel afraid in some points. But the shameful in when you make this fear control you. When you make this fear, that means that the dictator or any other people or your enemy will win. So it's ordinary to have fear, especially in a country that suffers from dictatorship, that, you know, threaten you, kill your colleagues, you know. I had a lot of things, you know, that I was, you know, attacked by him, a lot of smear campaign. He arrested me, he tried to kill me, he attacked my house. There's a lot of things, you know, that I suffered from in person. But in general, what kept me that strong, what kept me brave, because the belief that the destiny for everyone who fight for noble values, for freedom, for justice, is victory. I never, ever lose this belief. The hope. I never, ever lost my hope, even with all darkness around me. And this is now what you are seeing now when you watch something about Arab Spring countries. You see that there is here war, there is here military coup, there is here militia, there is terrorists. And no, I know also, I know why all this. This is also something else, so the knowledge. So belief, hope, and the knowledge. I know who caused all this destruction. It's not me. It's the counter-revolution. It's not the revolutionary people. It's the counter-revolution who doesn't want democracy to prevail. So I never lose hope. And I really see that our destiny will reach to the freedom, democracy, because every great revolution followed by counter-revolution. So you faced it. Europe faced it, America faced it. So why do you want Arab people to have revolution and to make democracy at the same time, at the same year? We are now in the 15 years of our, and it's very short age.
So it's always a process.
15 years, through 15 years, we were able to topple 8 dictators. 8 dictators. And no one say that we are so proud of that. And we are, it's in a country. So my courage came because I know the destiny. We will be the winner, absolutely. Absolutely. Today, tomorrow, we will be the winners.
I'm pretty sure it will happen. You mentioned the way you were portrayed, or women in conflict zones are portrayed in the media. Well, you travel the world now and you see how women are portrayed and how women and men are portrayed differently. What was the way you particularly didn't like when you were portrayed in the international media, and what are the best strategies that you notice now that maybe work in favor of equal representation?
That is a very important question, because the worst thing that they portrayed us, not me only, us, the people who dream, who sacrifice for freedom, that they are terrorists. And this is very important thing. And by the way, this accusation is a tool of dictators before the Arab Spring. They use it as a weapons to attack their opponents. So to blackmail West, to have money from them, and to fear them from the alternative. So terrorism was the worst thing that they portray us. Don't believe them, they are terrorists. They don't believe them. If the change will happen, you will see what is the alternative. No, we are peaceful people. We want the only thing that we suffer and sacrifice for, and we started our journey for it. It's peaceful, with peaceful revolution. It is for democracy, freedom, prosperity, and rule of law, and nothing else. So yes, for that, how we face it? By the example. By example. We did a great peaceful revolution, and we didn't commit any kind of violence in front of that violence of dictators. In Yemen, especially in Yemen, that we own more than 70 million pieces of weapons. And the dictator used most kind of violence against us. These people, that they have more than 70 pieces of weapons, didn't face him with the violence that they can use. Only thing that there is flowers and singing. So it was and the same thing was in Egypt. The same thing was only Syria and Libya that forced to go to the carrying the weapons in front of the dictator after his very mass killing, very mass genocide that they used against their people. But we can't blame them. We can't blame them. But what I prefer to commit with the peaceful method. So it's by telling and make awareness, telling people, please wake up. Please don't say that people in Arab Spring country, they are losers because we didn't lose the battle, because it didn't finish yet. We're still in it. And don't portray them as terrorists. They are not. They are people who fight peacefully for freedom, for democracy, and anyone who will push them to violence, they should stop to be there. And so and I don't know if you will ask, but let me see. Now you are in Poland, and you see how the dictatorship now is doing in Nero with the occupation of Ukraine. So our battle as a people in Arab Spring is nothing different than people in Ukraine. We have a same battle for freedom, a same battle, a same destiny. So we are with them, we support them, and we support every nation around the world who suffer from dictatorship, who suffer from occupation. We call for their freedom and for their democracy and sovereignty.
So the battle's going on, but I'm wondering, yet another Nobel Prize winner, Daron Acemoglu, he wrote a book about how technology itself is not good or bad. It's what people make of it, and it also applies to the media. The media can be a tool of oppression, but it can be a tool of empowerment. And yeah. I'm wondering what your opinion is, how we can make the media, how we should use technology, how we should use the modern media technology to make it empowering instead of suppressive.
We should use it. We should create tools to use it in a very good way. In Arab Spring, we used the social media in a very good way, and it was one of our tools to force the dictators and to gather people in the revolution, to convince people, etc., etc. It was one of our, it is not the only tools, especially in Yemen. We don't have that at that time, that much internet or electricity at that time that help people to, but we use it. We use it in all Arab Spring. But now the dictators, the authoritarian regimes learned a lot from the lesson, and they gathered themselves very much, and they now use it as a platform to attack human rights defenders, to attack the people, their citizens, to spy on them, etc. So we shouldn't give them the platform and give up, because they are really, really waging wars and electronic wars by bullying, by smear, and by attacking, your soul. No, you shouldn't give up. It's the same time. It's the same battle when you go to this make demonstration and sit. We should use it in a very good way. We should, in general, AI. It has a lot of things we can discuss about it. We shouldn't. It should be serve the humanity, not the humanity serve the AI. We should, this new technology shouldn't turn the people to product, to numbers. And this a lot of discussion, needs a lot of discussion with governments, with companies, but with us as a people, we should take advantage of it. We should use it in a very good way. And really, the GZ generation, they did a great work. And this is why I am so optimistic about their rule and about the new generation around the world. And with either they are Muslims, Christian, Jew, Buddhist, any religion, any color, any country, that these new generation will create the difference. And they did a great work with the supporting people in Gaza. This is very important. And they did a great work with supporting people in Ukraine. That is very important. And they did a great work with, they support people in Yemen, in Sudan. So we need those voices. All of us should be the voice of humanity and use this platform and other, or not just these platforms, our tools, every one of us. There is companies here, there is governments here. So let's rely on our humanity. We can live with each other without hate, without racism. We can accept each other. Now I am here, tomorrow you are in my country. Why do we make these, religions divide us? The religion didn't come to divide us, came to unite us. Why do we make dictators? This is very important. Authoritarian regimes to divide us. Those terrorists, those extremists shouldn't divide us. We people here in this hall and everywhere should make a new narrative and support the new generation to make a new narrative. And social media is a very strong tool to do that.
Strong tool. We don't need, it's true, we don't need any more polarization. We're running out of time, but I have one last question, because you were not only one of the first Arab women to win the Nobel Prize, you were one of the youngest people to win the Nobel Prize.
I was. Unfortunately, Malala took the title. She's my friend.
I was close. Nobody remembers
Malala. What did you do?
But so my question is, there is a lot of, you put a lot of hope in the young people.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that many young people are afraid to call out inequality. What can you tell them? How do you encourage them to not be scared, to fight for equality and peace and justice?
Don't be afraid. That's very important, because you are the strongest generation in the history. You have the tools, especially with the technology, with the AI, you have the wisdom, you have the knowledge. Nothing, all the generation before, they don't have they are blessed and they can do a lot of things. So they have always, I call the young people to be responsible, to save the world from the current leadership, because we are suffering from lack of noble, great leadership everywhere. And the authoritarian regime is rising and democratic regime is, in decline. So you have to take responsibility to save democracy if you are living in the democratic country. You shouldn't allow anyone to divide your society by hate, by racism. You shouldn't let anyone to attack your freedom of expression. And this is this call for people, especially in Europe. You belong to a very great nation, a very great countries. All the freedom, human rights that you own it not from nothing. You own it after suffering. So don't let anyone, any parties, any movement, anyone to steal your victory with human rights. We, people who suffer from authoritarian regime, we are in that promise. We will liberate our country from dictatorship. You should save your countries, your democracy, and at the same time, you should deal with issues around the world with compassion, with love, with truth. Help people around the world on their battle for freedom, for democracy, for justice, against climate change. So this is what I expect from people like you who coming at, what is the time now?
I think almost 10. We're definitely
10
out
o'clock
of
to
time.
listen to me. So those people, they have a mission to do something in there. So I believe on every person that they can create a new narrative that belongs to ourselves as a human being.
And it definitely takes a lot of strong women to pave the way for the equality, and a lot of strong men to pave the way for equality and peace in the world together. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Tawakkol Karman, the Iron Lady of the Revolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Habibi. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Flowers. I like flowers.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's take a group photo.
Thank you.
And I would like to thank again our sponsors, Polin Museum, Bad Polska, Drzazga Klinik, Totalizator Sportowy, Orlen and Sztok Polska. Let's take a photo. Yes.
Can I
Yes.
say just one word? It couldn't have been a better finish of this wonderful day than listening to you, Tawakkol. I think in the name of everybody, thank you so much. You heard so many amazing speakers, so much urgency, so many ideas, so much inspiration, so many words. We should listen to one of your sentences, from words to action. This is what we should take away from today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Let's have-
And one more thing, I think that we are really filled up with powerful messages. Now it's time to fill in our stomachs. So I invite you to the foyer downstairs, and there is drinks, food, flying dinner, networking, discussions.
Thank you.
You are invited too, of course.
I hope.
Thank you very much for being with us. It was EqualVoice Summit. Thank you.